Hey guys, welcome back to Clashing with Corey. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe now because I'm putting out new Town Hall 10 3-star strategy videos every single day. Alright, what we've got for you today is going to be an attack that is even stronger than Hogs right now, and Hogs are really strong. This is going to be LAVALOON. There is a catch. This attack is probably the best attack in the entire game if you are a master. However, that catch is this attack is probably the most difficult attack to master in the entire game. So we're gonna hop right into it, and we're gonna watch one of those masters 6-pack in it with some serious swag, tons of swag spells. First two attacks we're gonna watch are gonna be by King Tut. Now, important to notice, we've been covering the Siege Machine a lot. We're still covering the Siege Machine today because that is the meta. That's what's working. We're getting a lot more value out of kill squads, and that goes to stand for Suicide Lalo as well. So basically, before, sometimes you'd see a Sui Lalo, just heroes. Sometimes you'd see it with one golem to allow them to get a little bit deeper, and that's basically what we're doing here, but we're using the Siege Machine to break in. Sometimes they got a golem in there for a little extra tanking for the heroes. Sometimes it's going to be Valks to get a little, get another wall broken, get in deeper, make sure you grab the queen. So let's see what he's got popping out of this one. It's already done work. We're 2 layers deep. Heroes are in. It's tanking the single target, and he's got a max golem popping out. Now, if there wasn't a single target Inferno in reach, I would really like that option. But since there's a single target locked onto it, that max golem does not last very long. However, if you also notice, he doesn't burn any spells right there. No rage for CC Valks or anything. Doesn't invest any spells there other than a poison for the enemy CC. And he's going to pick up the enemy queen after he pops his queen ability, and gets a ton of value for using no spells at all. Now he's bringing in the Lalo portion. Spreads his loons out a little bit so they cover those first sets of defenses on their way in to soak up any red bombs. Those ones did not end up soaking any red bombs, just black bombs. So he's got haste in around the edges to get him in, and then rages in the core on the higher hit point buildings. He's just really having a lot of patience here. Got haste coming into this section, a heal to cover that Tesla farm. Good location there. They got an expo firing on them as well. Bringing in some backside loons for that mortar, and just so that there's more than a few groups coming into that last wizard tower. And look at this. This base is already gone. He was nice and patient with his loon drops, bringing them in on the edges to keep his core group going. And look at the bottom there. He's got 3 swag spells. He's got a freeze he never needed, a haste he never needed, a skelly spell he never needed. Now, why am I claiming that LAVALOON is even stronger than Hogs? And that's pretty easy. It's always been stronger than Hogs in the hands of a master. You know what I mean? They've been 3-star in Town Hall 10 bases since Town Hall 10 bases were almost impossible to 3-star with LAVALOON attack strategies. You know what I mean? When done by a master. So, also, a couple other points to take in. Hogs are so strong right now. Anybody who knows what they're doing is running ground skellies right now, so you don't have to deal with that if you're doing LAVALOON. Also, LAVALOON does not care if there's a king running around because he can't touch it. You know what I mean? So the king, when you're doing LAVALOON on the back end, is a complete non-factor. So beautiful, absolutely crushed that base by King Tut. We're gonna go in and look at his next hit, and he swags even more spells on this one. Even more spells. And once again, basically this is just a Suicide Lalo with the golem in the CC inside the ram there. Got some funneling troops down on the sides there to make sure his heroes follow that Siege Machine right in there. Let's see if he uses a spell on his kill squad this time, but betting he probably doesn't. Yep, he's got another max golem popping out. Unfortunately, that max golem is right in range of another single target Inferno. But if you're not using any spells on your kill squad, it still buys you a lot more time than Valks would. So look at that section of the base he gets carved out for basically just a CC golem and heroes. We're getting a ton more value out of these small kill squads than we ever did before. We're getting a lot more value out of large kill squads too. Just a lot more value, period, with that Siege Machine. So it brings in his hounds in a couple different areas so they sweep across those defenses and pick up any potential red bombs. Now he's got a full health hound in there on the second hound was still pretty high health, so he doesn't really burn any haste spells. He kind of lets it sit there for a while and lets it take some damage. Remember, you don't want your hounds to stay unpopped. You want them to pop somewhere in the raid so that they end up spitting out those lava pups to help with cleanup. You'll notice on the bottom, he also brought 6 of his own minions to help with cleanup as well. Got a Rage coming into those high hit point defenses with the Wizard Tower and the X-Bow there. A Freeze on that backside air defense right before the Queen, who's still alive, goes ahead and takes it out. You know, he's nice and patient. It's just a rotational Lalo. You're bringing in hounds, you're bringing in loons on the edges. You got to make sure you're heavy enough on your initial group, because if your initial group dies out, usually that's game over for a Lalo. But then after that, you're just sprinkling in a few here and there on the edge defenses, hasting him in if you need to, just to keep it down to a nice manageable path. Look at the bottom there. Look how many spells he's got left. He's got a heal, 2 haste, and a skelly spell. Tons of loons up. Got a full health Queen with an ability. Absolutely crushed this base. Another beautiful attack by King Tut. Now we've got Tim on the My RC account with the Sui Lalo on number 15. Now this one, he does it a little bit different. He splits up his ram from his heroes to grab value in a couple different places. Now, look at this area right here. We might not have any air defense in here, but we got 2 Wizard Towers and an X-Bow. That's a really high value target when you're doing loons, because Wizard Towers are the loons' absolute worst enemy. So, he's going to use a Rage on his kill squad since it's Valks. I think that's a really good call. And he gets most of that whole compartment there taken out, -1 Wizard Tower, which is that. And he also gets the CC lure. Look at that. He got the poison down in the CC and killed that loon right away. But we got an Electro Dragon. Those things are super slow. They have a ton of health. So he's kind of luring it out a little ways with that minion so that it can come on over and face off with his Queen and die here in a minute. I would really hate to see what an Electro Dragon could do to a group of 20 loons. Would it just wreck them all in one attack if they were close enough? I think it might. So he's got his heroes. He broke his heroes in right there to grab this section, which also had an air defense, and take care of this Electro Dragon with his Queen. It's going to blow up, do a little bit of damage to his Queen. That's alright. She's still got her ability intact. Now he's going to start his Lalo at this point. He missed a few defenses in here, but I think his Queen's going to step up with her ability and take him out. So we're going to focus up here on the Lalo portion. He's got some haste coming down, some pre-hastes. Now I think in this situation, he doesn't have any Wizard Towers on this entry. He could have dropped his loons right before his hounds, and the hounds would have still come out in front of them, but the loons would have been a little bit closer behind. So loons are finally getting into that haste, speeding in there to help those hounds. See, that first hound didn't last long at all. That's alright. Those 3 haste really covered that whole front section there. Now look at this hound over here, in this area right here. Very important hound. Anytime you see an area that has no air defenses, but it has Wizard Towers, you can pretty well bank on the fact that the base builder has put some red bombs in there because, you know, if there's no air defense in there, there's no sure thing that any hounds are going to go through and soak them up. And also, we'd love to put red bombs next to Wizard Towers away from air defenses because that's a really strong loon kill zone. So he makes sure to run this hound right through that area with the Wizard Towers. And as you can see, it's tanking those Wizard Towers while it's going by, but it's also pulling up any red bombs in that section. So he's got loons coming in behind that final thing right there, and he's really just covering all these defenses with hastes in the core just to zoom him through really fast. And he's got a heal coming out on the backside because he's got a pretty large group of loons there to get the benefit of that heal. And this base is done. Hastes right out of the heal. He didn't have any more splash damage up at that point to really cause him any more trouble, and he's got a ton of loons left. Good in ×2 because this is just cleanup. So let's do a quick recap. Probably the strongest attack in the game, but only in the hands of a master. You know what I mean? It's really difficult to master this attack because there's so many factors that go into it. You know, where are you dropping the hounds? Where are you dropping the loons? How about your timing with the hounds and the loons? You know what I mean? Then you have the hastes that can, speed up certain parts of your attack. Rages and heals going down in the core. It's just really a lot of stuff, and it takes a lot of practice to get good at. If you're not already proficient at Lavaloon, I would suggest just cooking up the army and hitting FCs in your clan over and over and over again. But also seek out some of the pros out there that have put out. There's a lot of videos on loon pathing, advanced Lavaloon guides and stuff like that. Go watch all those videos, because honestly, I'm not a master. Just maybe in the last 6 months or so, I've finally become proficient in it. You know what I mean? Which is great. But I'm not a master. I'm not the guy to learn those fine details from. Go see if One Hive Gazette has ever done some loon videos. He's really good at explaining that kind of stuff. Really seek out the best of the best, the ones that have been involved in CWL Invite for years. Go check out their Lavaloon tutorials if you're really interested in mastering it. Get their advice and then go hit some bases over and over again. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like 50 friendly challenges at the minimum. 100, 200 is even better. Just do it any chance you get until you get really good at it, because it's a really powerful attack in the hands of a master. So that's all I've got for you today. I got one more video coming up from the same war. We're going to cover some more hog hits on it. Basically, we've got so many Town Hall 10 3-stars right now that I've got plenty of content to choose from. Great time to be a Town Hall 10 YouTuber right now. We'll see you next time. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already.